This conference will now be recorded.
Mine doesn't say so. It's 6 o'clock. I'll call the meeting to order. Pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's see. I believe we have a couple of amendments to the agenda. 7F and 7G, is that correct?
Yep, 7F, promotion of Sergeant Tony Pasquale to police chief, and then the posting of the police sergeant position that will open up when Tony moves into the chief position. I did send out revised agendas and the paperwork to you guys too, so.
Yes.
Just need a motion for the amendments to the agenda.
I'll make that motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Passes. Public comments. Individuals may address the city council about any item of concern. Speakers must state their name and limit their remarks to 3 minutes. Generally, the city council will not take official action on these items, but may refer the matter to staff for future report or direct the matter to be scheduled for a future meeting agenda. Do we have any public comments?
If you're here for the public hearing, we'll do comments then for the ordinance, the water ordinance, if that's what you do.
No.
Nope, we'll do
That's-
that under
That's under, yeah.
the new business, or the public hearing.
There are no public comments. I will close the public comments portion, and we'll move on to the consent agenda. All items listed on the consent agenda are considered routine by the council and will be approved by one motion. I would just be looking for a motion for the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passes 3-0. Accounts payable. Let's see, that is myself. Nope, sorry. I'm not following through here.
It's in there somewhere. Hopefully it's in there.
Where did it go? Hang on. Most things on the consent agenda were very normal. Couple of them. I know one was $114,006.67 to Burbach Aquatics for pool engineering. And the other two that to highlight, one is $82,957 to the Zumbrota Area Ambulance for safety dollars allocation of $11,751.01. And the other was then to the Zumbrota Fire Board for safety dollars of $13,509.55. Everything else was very, very normal. Are there any questions on that?
The engineering fees for Burbach, we've already paid them quite a bit already, haven't we?
Yes, we have made payments, I believe, prior to this of 273,000.
So
And
this
these are
is kind of
additional.
part of that 350 that was
I believe so.
already.
Whatever their percentage of the project is.
Does that normally go through the park board or does it go through us?
Well, the thing of it is that you are going to be in charge of the construction project. So we will make sure that you both basically approve them because we're going to have bills paid in a timely manner. Because the park board only meets once a month.
Okay.
So we're going to be running them through, but we'll be making sure that both entities see the bills and have them. And of course, Jeff will review them to make sure the work's been done.
Okay.
I believe it was on park board.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you recall, Jeff, they were gonna look for payment on the first meeting, the first council meeting of the month, or was it the second one? Do you recall?
Oh, can't remember what they decided on that.
Well, either way, the park board will get to see it just before.
I'll make a motion to approve the accounts payable in the amount of $158,052.36.
I'll second.
All those in favor? Aye. Passes 3-0. Now we will move on to the public hearing for the ordinance 2026-06 revised water billing ordinance.
Typically, same as as the public comments, 3 minutes for comments, right?
Yeah, was Kim going to speak first, or do we open it up for?
Oh, yeah. My bad, yep.
All right, so we have been. Actually, we had been asked quite some time to include this. Hang on just a second. I was just going to get some feedback. But we had been asked to look into the ordinance, check into how we are going to be doing the new utility billing ordinance. The ordinance currently is not in line with our practices. So we started looking at it. And we bill monthly was one of the things that is changing. We've got the new metering system. So we were asked about manual meter read fee for people who would opt out. We looked at how much labor it takes to do that, to go out and have a physical read of the meter. We also looked into, we were asked to look into the cost of mailing bills. We've been having a issue which has gotten worse actually lately. We spend about $700 to $800 a month just for postage on the bills, not counting paper product, staff time, click cost of the copying. And a lot of the bills are getting lost. Last month, I believe we had well over 100 bills that were lost in the mail. We have no control of them once they leave. It's not our local people. I believe that it's happening when they get up to the cities. Actually, the old bill came the day before the new bill came. So we're having a lot of issue with mailing of it. We offer email billing free of charge. So we have that on there at all times that people can get their bills by email. So that was one of the things Mayor Hamel asked me to look at was the cost of mailing. We came up with a cost to send those out for each person of $3 per bill is roughly our average cost. And then the other thing we wanted to talk about would be the establishment of a no read meter fee. And that's specifically when our Public Works Department has reached out several times to an individual because something's wrong with the meter and they're not getting any response from them to either fix it or see if something's hooked up incorrectly. So in that case, if that fee were to happen, we would notify the homeowner, and we were proposing that a no read fee go on their bill. But if they comply within a certain period of time, that fee would be removed. Just so we can keep track of, we're all responsible and we get audited on water loss, on unbilled water we're pumping. So it's just another way we can keep efficiency going for our water system.
Thank you. I'll open that up to any public comments on the ordinance for the water billing. I just ask that you state your name and address and limit your remarks to just a few minutes, please.
Okay, I'm Connie Groth, and I live on Lincoln Avenue, and I am probably only one that wants to opt out, and I am here because I saw the front page of the newspaper. I kind of browsed through that information that $68 to come manually read my reader, and I've offered to, can I record my numbers and maybe defer that 68, quarterly or bi-yearly or yearly. My bills and even the business bill arrived and each was at 1,000. That's my standard is 1,000 that I get billed. So it's kind of hard to divvy from that, it's always been that way. So I want to opt out. And how have you successfully replaced the whole town of Zumbrotti's meters with these Wi-Fi? Has that been complete?
I believe we've got about 140 roughly to do yet this year.
And you're
We
getting-
stopped Yeah, we stopped during the winter just for better practices when we couldn't find the curb boxes as well anymore, so.
And you're doing with their consent to do this, replace them, just swap them out? You know, I'm one person, this is one community amongst the whole world, but we know we're falling to the AI pollution. You know, we live in a microwave. It's only going to get, now we're a superpower microwave. It's not good. It's not healthy. And then part two, AI, you know, once we're all in on the cloud, it'd be so easy to slip pennies from my account to feed AI without me knowing it. And I think opting out would be one way to say, no, I want to pay for what I owe and not feed AI or mistakes, you know, accidents, you know, the flood that occurred in the business. That's expensive. And
Yeah, it is expensive. And we've talked about a few different options of ways to do that. And I know there was some others that we haven't talked about too. My wife and I were brainstorming on a few different things, ways to do it. And how do I say that? Make sure you're paying for what you are. But one of the reasons for this new system is also to make sure that if there is an issue, that it can be seen and taken care of so you don't get hit with a large water bill for some unforeseen.
yeah, I've heard that this new system is supposed to be programmed to watch everybody's house. So you're constantly, you're constantly just like a whatever. Are you there? Are you there? Are you there? Are you using too much water over here? If so, I'm going to shut you down. Right? That's how it's programmed. But
I'm
what
not
they
sure how
told
that's
me
programmed.
too
Jeff might
is
know that.
I can't bring my meter reader information down for my bill because it's not programmed to do data entry.
Yeah, and I
You know-
believe it's actually, it talks back twice. I believe it's twice a day for less than a second a time. Whoever is it, actually it's community, it's not a constant.
Well, how could you have caught the business flood in twice a day? You may have, you may not have. I mean, how accurate is that program? You're only as good as you're programmed. And you don't even know what the program source is programmed to do. And it's pretty bad that you can't ask, if, then, else, or, but, programming, do this. If you are Connie, allow her to deliver her numbers to you to input for her bill. And if it has to be out on the internet, the article said I can just come down here. I know the bill's due on the 22nd, preferably before that. I can just come down here. I'm ready to pay my bill. They'll look it up, tell me what I owe. It's just, and then again, you are pushing, plowing, forcing, compliance. That's not freedom.
Is it-
Opt out costs me $15 a month, not $70 a month. And that's
But they do not
ridiculous.
physically, do they have to physically come to your residence at $15 a month? Do they come and read your meter every month for $15?
I believe they do.
They physically come on an opt-out? Okay.
Yeah, what I've been told is they're a big company and they're eating a lot of that cost.
Okay.
We're not a big company. We're a city. We've got, we've got, well, we've got fee payers. We're instituting a meter reading system that's wonderful. That's going to be able to be, you can have a login to see your own water usage. We can catch leaks. We're constantly arguing or taking complaints on, hey, something's wrong. You're charging me way too much. And then we have to go back through a whole convoluted system to figure out that the toilet ran for an hour and a half at 2 a.m. This system will be able to see it, pretty much real time. So it's a great system, and the RF or whatever it is less than a second a day. This is a system that Zerota went to, and The council wanted to have an option of an opt-out. So we went to look and see, okay, well, what's that gonna cost? And that's how we came up with the amount. And so that's an option that you can use. Council's willing to allow that.
Offering free service to read my meter.
Is there any other public comments on the water bill? If not, I will close the public comments portion of on the public hearing. And we'll move on to new business. 7A, Zumbrota Drivetrain Family Car Show Road Closure Request. Ryan.
Yes, we, as you see in the memo there, Savannah is here to answer any questions that we have, and her helper. What's your name? Lincoln. Here to answer any questions you might have. They'd like to close down a portion of Warren Avenue between First Street and St. Paul Road for a family car show. I told Savannah that you would probably ask if she had spoken to everybody in the neighborhood to make sure they're okay with that, specifically, Schumachers and O'Brien's, because they're in and out of there with heavy trucks all the time, and we're not sure they can get down St. Paul Road. And whatever other questions you might have, I promised I wouldn't make her talk too much.
Yeah, the push and hold. Yeah, our car show is on a Saturday, so it shouldn't impede anyone's business. I personally went door to door to our business neighbors as well as all of the residents on St. Paul Road and spoke to 90% of them personally. Left flyers and a note letting them know and inviting them to our car show because we do want to drive community engagement, because I know Zumbrota Drivetrain doesn't always have a great community image, and we would like to change that. That's what we want to have some community outreach. We're doing some kids stuff. So we do want the road closed, at least the part kind of in front of our building, so we can have kids in the area without traffic.
So you're gonna go back towards like Schumachers and that's
Correct.
the road that you wanna.
Yeah, we're not gonna
Close
impede on First, just on Warren, right in front of our business, as well as Schumachers, and most of those businesses do not operate on Saturdays.
Do you have any issues with that? Pat?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, Public Works has approved pending what we had talked about. An officer or sergeant for now, Pasquale, also approved it from a police standpoint. It's just the council approval that's remaining.
I guess we'd be just looking for a motion to approve that.
How long is it for?
The car show is 3 hours. We're gonna close down just a little for setup before and after, so approximately 5 hours.
Well, I'll make a motion to approve the Zumbrota Drivetrain Family Car Show Road Closure.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
I can have one more question. You said 5 hours?
Yeah.
Yes, it is 9 to noon is the car show, and we would close or put out cones, I guess, around 8.
8 to 1. That is
8 to
right.
1.
Never mind. Sorry. I was counting. I was thinking 3 hours. No, my bad.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes 3-0. On to 7B, ordinance 2026-09, establishing fees for emergency protection fire services within the city.
Yes, this is just for your consideration tonight. We know that we're going to have some cleanup to do on it. This came about because, as you know, much like the ambulance service, the city pays in per capita, pays dues into the ambulance service. But if you use the ambulance service, you end up having to pay for it. And fire control is just the exact same way. We pay dues for the city and our township partners. But if you use the service, we do ask you to pay the cost of going out to getting all the equipment out, doing all those things, because we need to fund our department. So we are a joint powers board, and we have been getting some pushback more and more from the automotive insurance industries that we are not authorized to bill for the joint powers board. I do the bookkeeping for the joint powers board. And in order to do that, we need to put this ordinance into place that says basically the cities and the townships give their permission for the fire board to bill for these things that happen. And most of the pushback we get are for traffic things on 52, to be honest. We don't have too much problems with property at all, but the traffic things with automotive and insurance seem to be an issue. So.
I had spoken with Kim about this, and I just had some questions about the wording on always going back to the city versus the fire board, because the fire board is really the one billing it, but the city does it. And I just didn't know if that wording was going to be correct and to make sure everything is stated right. I don't know if the attorneys have looked at that too as well, or if there is any issues or not. I just wanted to make sure on that.
Yeah, did not have the attorneys look at it. It's a template from the League of Minnesota Cities and their attorneys. Basically, you fill in Zumbrota in multiple places. But you're right, Bob, and just reading a little closer through here, just some of the wording should probably point back to the fire board or the joint powers. Oops.
Yeah.
Or the joint powers. So yeah, there's a few wording changes we can make in here and then clean up a little bit.
Perfect. Thank you.
So do we want to wait on that motion?
Yeah, we can
I
wait
think
on
so.
Okay.
7C, the water tower demolition quotes. Yeah.
Yeah, we're just, with Scott Hunnicky and WHKS, we put together a bid pack here to get rid of the existing water tower. We've been capped off and running on just the GSR for probably 3 weeks now, and did some programming so that all 3 wells talk now and feed the high pressure system, so to speak. And everything seems to be running pretty smoothly, so just looking for approval to demo the water tower.
We have a motion to approve that demolition quote.
Motion to approve the water tower demolition quote of $54,400.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Passes 3-0. 7D, organized hauling contract, commercial services. Brian.
Yes. We've been talking about this for a little while. And in going through the process of putting together the RFPs and consulting with Mike Flaherty, we ran into, well, we're gonna have to revise an ordinance depending on what you guys want to do. First thing I'm looking for is some guidance on which way we want to go with the commercial hauling. Right now, the way it's been set up since the first contract that we did is that we bid residential, and then commercial is the lowest residential bidder plus the second lowest residential bid have the ability to do commercial hauling in Zumbrota. We've gotten several complaints from businesses that that's not working very well. It hasn't created enough competition for prices. So as we go into this RFP process, and we still want to bid, I would think we still want to bid the residential. That's been working very well. But for the commercial, we could stay with what we have with the 2. We would not have to redo the ordinance at that point. But if we do, another option would be to bid both. We have a solid bid on residential and on commercial. It would be a fixed rate, then everybody would know what it's going to be for commercial. I don't know how it would come out. It's been done. I think Wanamingo did theirs that way. But I think what business owners want is to be able to have some competition and do the negotiating. So that's the third option, would be to just open commercial hauling up to whoever they want to negotiate with, or whoever the businesses want to negotiate with. If we did do that, we would want to limit the number of days that those trucks are in town. Because we don't want big trucks running around all over town every day. Commercial would be mostly on the main roads downtown, some apartments, I suppose. But we could limit it to 1 or 2 specific days that we know they'll be here. So anyway, that's the first thing, is guidance on that. Which way do you want me to go with setting up the RFP? And then we need to do an extension again. asking until the end of September. I spoke with LRS and they're fine with that. Just to give us a little bit more time. I got to work with Flaherty on revising the ordinance and getting things in place that way, so.
I like the idea of just bidding it out for the residential, and at least two, for the, commercial, especially in my business. I like going back and forth between different ones if I have that option. My only question is, if we're working with commercial as far as our own businesses, can we mandate when they come in and not come in?
Yes.
We can.
Yep, we can limit the days.
Okay.
Yep. I had that conversation with a couple of different haulers. We've got another hauler that calls quite a bit, wondering where we're at with the RFP, and I asked about that. And he said, yeah, you can say you can only be in town this day or 2 days.
Just, coming from like the background that I had, I know like we were busy on the weekends and I think we might have had a little issue with like the days because we needed the dumpster dumped and they were like, well, we can't come in, and that got to be a little frustrating. But I mean, I'm good with like,
If
having
it's set up in front, when they're bidding, they know, or when, well, they wouldn't be bidding. But yeah, if you tell them ahead of time, hey, you
Yeah.
can only be here these days.
Yeah. But are you talking like if like each business would be able to say
No.
that, call
no,
out? No,
We as a city would want to
be like
mandate
two.
preferably 1 day and then have a mechanism for an exception probably. If you need more than one empty, if you're gonna be empty more than 1 day a week, we talk about it.
Yeah, as I'm thinking
okay.
like, again, my prior life, we had 2 times a week where they dumped our dumpster. And I'm assuming that they would still be doing that. So I know like for them, they would probably want that option to be able to get it dumped twice a week. I mean, maybe not all year, but for sure during the, spring, summer.
Yeah, and we just want to limit.
Yeah, I mean, I
trucks in
get
town
that.
Every day. I know that I talked to
Completely get
the
that.
engineers, Bill and Scott, and they said from an engineering standpoint, the less big trucks on roads, the better,
Oh, for sure.
obviously. But they said, they're not dead set against it. I don't, Jeff's opinion too, same thing that the less trucks, the better, but
But makes sense.
to create some competition, open it up, that would be a way that we could go.
So we can still think about like which
Yes.
thought
Oh, yeah.
we would like.
Yeah, because we've got a little, just we have to have the process of revising the ordinance, which is a
What we're
couple of
working on.
meetings and posting time and things like that.
That's if we
And-
open up to multiple.
If we
more than-
open up to
more than
multiple
two.
or bid commercial.
I don't
those
really
two
like the
options.
idea of bidding commercial, but,
Yeah.
then you're stuck.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm with you. I think I'd rather have, as a business owner, I'd rather have an option.
And again, it'll be
to pick a second.
It's a 5-year contract that we've typically put out there. So in 5 years, if it's not working very well, then we'll visit it again.
But right now, you do need
I
a
do need a-
motion to approve the extension of the existing contract. Is that
Yep.
correct?
Yep, to the end, the last day in September.
I'll make a motion to approve extending the current contracts until September 30th.
I'll second
Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Passes 3-0. 7E, Revised Highlands 7th Development Agreement. Miles.
Thank you, Acting Mayor and Council. So last meeting or last month, I believe, we saw the Highlands Development Agreement on the council agenda. So you've already approved the preliminary and final plans for this to move forward. And you also approved a draft Highlands Development Agreement. Well, we've been negotiating and working with Tony Bigelow on getting this signed and getting this put together. And he made a request for an amendment, which was to remove some fees of $246,000 for grading and erosion control from the cash security. So not our cash requirements, but just his security that would go in escrow account. The reasoning is due to that it's actually a private improvement rather than a public improvement, so the city won't hold ownership of it afterwards. And so he made the request because he didn't think that that was necessary. Our city engineer, Bellingham, agreed with him, saying that since the city isn't going to be holding this improvement, it's not a requirement to have a security on it because we won't be So we updated the agreement to include that, so the cash security that would be required would be in the amount of $1,038,750. And so we're bringing that forward tonight, and he's given us a verbal agreement to sign this agreement as is. No other changes were made, and we'll be basically moving forward pretty quickly after that. So just looking for council guidance on this one.
I talked to Brian about this one too a little bit earlier, and it all made sense of what they're doing and why they're doing it.
We only had, he hadn't gone through the entire agreement beforehand either, so this is kind of a new development too. So he was just basing it off other agreements he has in other cities as well. So that's the reason for the request, and we weren't gonna do it as long as Bill agreed to it and Mike Flaherty, our attorney, agreed to it as well, and they both were comfortable with it. So we felt that that was okay too, because our ordinance also requires 125% of the total improvements anyways. So we already are getting more than a typical city would get in cash security.
I'll make a motion to approve the amended Highlands Development Agreement.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Passes 3-0. Down to 7F, promotion of Sergeant Tony Pasquale to police chief. Ryan.
Yes, we've got Tony in attendance tonight, along with his daughter and wife. On behalf of the Personnel Committee and administration, we did Tony's interview last evening, and he's very impressive. So we're happy to offer him the next police chief position, take over some big boots to fill, following Chief Callahan, but Tony's well prepared. You can see it in the memo here, lots of qualifications. He's kind of become the go-to officer for a lot of residents in the city too. The downtown businesses, they like him to be out there directing traffic during their event because he's dancing and kind of stuff. So no, he'll be an excellent next chief following Chief Callahan. So recommending, approving, hiring Tony Pasquale as our next chief.
I would say being on the interview panel too, Tony interviewed very well, I thought. Spoke very well. Be just looking for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the promotion of Sergeant Tony Pasquale to police chief.
Well, I guess I'll second it.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Passes 3-0.
Thank you, Acting Mayor and Council. I'm extremely honored and humbled for this opportunity. Ever since 2022, when Chief suggested that I put in for that sergeant position to have that first step in leadership. He's done a great job preparing the department for transition, but also setting myself up for success to continue the legacy that he's paved forward to us, bringing us up to a 24/7 agency, bringing on some frontline supervision, improving our evidence and reporting. So I'm looking forward to continuing to serve the Zumbrota citizens, businesses, our annual visitors in the best way that I can. Again, thank you.
Thank you, Tony. Which brings us to our next one, 7G, police sergeant position recruitment.
And since we're moving Tony out of the sergeant position, that leaves an opening. And so we would like to get that posted tomorrow morning with your approval. Let's see, I gotta find my memo here. The ad, I kind of moved things around here. There we go. So yeah, we want to get someone in here and get him going, get him or her going. In case there's a FTO training period, that's a few months typically. So want to get him in, get him going, and we propose using the safety dollars if need be, using the public safety dollars to cover the overlap, because Sergeant Pasquale will still be in his position, when we bring the next sergeant in. Tony will be able to do a lot of the FTO training as the sergeant still before he takes over on August 11th, or before he moves into the chief position on August 11th in conjunction with Chief Callahan. There's a 2-week overlap there too. But yeah, so we're asking to post this right away and get interviews set. I've got a timeline on there, pretty specific timeline. It'll be open for 2 weeks. It's set to post tomorrow morning if you guys approve it already. Miranda did that for us. So yeah, be open until the 19th, and then we would want to interview the next week after that and get that position filled. If we had someone that didn't necessarily need all the training, we would adjust the start date for that position accordingly, which would require less safety dollars as well.
I'll make a motion to approve the police sergeant position recruitment post.
I just have one question, and this is going to be to chief and to future chief. This is, having this second sergeant and the 7th officer is really what you guys think is best for this community, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, we discussed it before hiring Sergeant Minor, and that's why we went with that sergeant position initially, was to give the more round-the-clock supervision, and then also having the ability to have schedules be covered adequately. So if someone takes time off or we're sending them to training, instead of having to use overtime dollars, we already have that person that we just slide the sergeant from that mid shift to cover a night shift or bump up a couple hours to cover part of the day shift in conjunction with the chief of police.
How much does it usually cost for training somebody new coming in for like a 3-month?
You mean like what the training period would be?
Yeah.
Well, as an example, Sergeant Minor here, we trained her for 30 days. And for her, certainly, she just really had to learn the lay of the land in supervisory duties, not so much to be a police officer. Someone fresh out of school, in an entry-level position, you're looking at about 120 days of training. So 3 to 4 months. There's a lot to train there. Experienced staff, you kind of have to gauge it based on their experience.
Councilmember Rash, if you're looking at strictly just for a dollar amount kind of figure, just figure you're basically adding an extra employee, and you figure a yearly rate. We just right off the top of our head with equipment, insurances, everything, it's about $120,000 a year for an employee in that position. So if you're talking 3 months, just divide it by 4, and you'd be talking about $30,000.
Is it impossible then to have that person start when you're done for the training to start then?
I think the goal here is to do our best to leave the department whole. Any setback, and especially in that time frame, I know there's a lot of people that already have approved time off. We don't want to infringe on that, certainly. But it's kind of like what we've tried to do. We can't be, because we're a small community, we can't afford, especially when we know we're going to have a vacancy, we can't do you can't fill it till it's vacated. We can't do that anymore. We got to be ahead of the game. We got to be proactive. And, maybe that's something that you guys really need to look at in that perspective. And so far, you've been doing that with us. You've been allowing us to be proactive because, depending on how, what experience that person has, that person's not ready until they're done with FTO. That means they can't go solo until then. And in this particular position, especially, this person, there's minimum requirements here. People have to have the experience. So that's why we're figuring around 30 days. It could potentially be less. We don't know. If it's someone, let's say it's someone that works currently in the county and knows the system here very well, that's more knowledge that person has coming into the position. So it really just depends on who the candidates are and how we go.
And I suppose like over the years, like everything else, you have less part-time guys that are available to fill in anywhere.
Realistically, we have one right now.
Yep.
Who's most available. The others have full-time jobs, and it's tough to get them, if they're working a night shift, to say, hey, either you gotta take off vacation for part of your night shift at your full-time job to come work a day shift for us, or figuring out some other thing. Really, the time of employing part-time officers is dwindling fast. It's not providing the highest level of service that we should be providing to community members because their usage is so infrequent. We're not able to keep them up with crime trends, with reporting requirements, with, they're meeting the state minimums for training, but they're missing out on some of the other ones because we're not paying for them to come in and do all the same training as our full-time staff, where it truly is a disservice to the community to put some of these part-timers in this position where they're not unfortunately adequately prepared or in the loop of what's going on with our city. It's not to discredit them and the service they've provided, but we need to move to the era of looking at this is a professional agency that's full-time, and we need to keep it at that pace. If we were to wait until August 20th when Pat retires to fill this position, we're going to be short then for Covered Bridge Fest. Public safety for the parade route would suffer. There's too many things going on this summer, especially that we wouldn't be adequately prepared for, and then that may require the city to contract with the sheriff's office for an additional body to help out with Covered Bridge Fest with the parade, where you're going to be taking on that expense somewhere else because we wouldn't have the staffing. So I'd like to avoid that as the new incoming chief.
And like Brian said too, we do have a buffer here with the public safety dollars. This is a wise use of the funds that we have, and there's certainly adequate funding in there to cover this if needed. So this is not affecting the current budget one way, either way in that sense, so.
And we will adjust the start date depending on the candidates or whoever we decide on. We can say, hey, that's not gonna require much training. Well, we'll adjust the start date till closer to the change.
We do have a motion. Do we have a second? Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Passes 3-0. On to reports. Brian?
Yeah, we had our North Sunboro Sanitary District meeting on Wednesday. Of course, I think I said that last time that we received $12 million of state bonding. That $12 million requires a match. The 10 million that we received originally did not require a match, but this 12 million does. So there's a lot of decisions to be made on what we do and when. The engineers are putting together a comprehensive update for all of the councils for, it'll probably be next meeting or possibly the meeting in July, depending on, well, there's all kinds of regulatory things and all kinds of decisions. And we want to have a really good update for you at that time. So that'll be coming. That's all I've got.
All right.
Morgan up there.
Morgan, do you have anything for tonight?
No, I do not. Unless you guys have anything for me.
Nope. All right. Chief?
Just a couple of things. I got a phone call today from Bill Everett of the Patrol Online, which is one of the training resources we've used for many years. It's an online resource. Most agencies in the state of Minnesota use it. It's a product through the League of Minnesota Cities. It helps us with, for instance, all our OSHA training we do through there. It provides quite a bit of your classroom kind of stuff, keeping us current with required training as well. And so I got a call from him today. He read in the legislative session recently the renaming of a portion of our highway to the Gary Schroeder Jr. Memorial Highway. And so he did a little bit of looking into that and learned about Gary's story. And he's working on a mental health awareness course and wants to use some of the information about Gary in that training. And so he reached out and wanted permission to do that and hopefully get some photos to add to the training. And so I feel very honored that they feel that that's that important as well, that they want to share that with the entire state of Minnesota. And so it's not very often that, real officers are used unless it's case law stuff. That's case law. You get to know who the players are. This is part of Zumbrota here. And so talked to his wife and asked her for that permission and if she had photos that she would be willing to share. And so she provided me with photos, and it's good that, our league is really looking out and promoting more mental health awareness and so forth. So very, very good to hear that. With that said, also in regards to the committee here with hiring, I am very happy on the decision to hire Sergeant Pasquale to fill my role. This is what I've been planning for quite some time. It's important to look for the strengths of all your staff. And, being that Tony started here as a part-time officer, very happy where he was as a full-time communications employee at another agency, yet I could see his strengths as a leader and, having that opportunity to get him on board as a sergeant and to mentor and mold him to the point where he can take on this role. To me, it's an honor. And I'm glad that I got to be part of that. It's really nice to be able to pass the baton to something that you helped shape. And so I'm very happy for Tony and his family. He is an absolute asset to this community, and he will serve it very well. So thank you for seeing it that same way. Yep.
Kim? Miles?
Nothing tonight.
Nothing? I do not have anything.
Good night.
Fred? No? Meeting adjourned. Yeah. Yes, I got the sign.
I work at
Oh, and then the other
Brandon,
is,
operation manager there, so.
Yeah.
They're part-time.
I'm going to the car show.
Good. I would love that. Yeah. Are you ready to car? No, I.
Yeah, the other one was a $10 million cash. But we cannot have that because we don't know that's going to go. Now they've already invested $20 million. So. No, it was less.
We get $12 million.
At some point, well, the sanitary district, that's what we got to discuss. So that's kind of the update that they're working to get the process for this. Effectively explaining that whole process.
And then what they said, people want our police department. don't want just a halfway.
No, you know, and go back and forth. You think we need them? But there's two people that are professionals that are doing this. That's what they say we need. And we've hired them to make that call.
And that's what everything is, you know, even though in my house, we're hiring that position.
Yes.
In my eyes, we really need that. But I gotta listen to the people that are here.
Come on, just like I listen to Jeff. Him. I mean, so
So that's,
how am I supposed to say no?
and I gotta leave my side from what I hear. So it's like, I see them run around. And I was told this long time. Mike Coogan's done. When he got on, once you get in there, there's more to it than just sitting outside your house.
Nope.
Like today, I did my at 3:30 multiple spot. Fired up, discussing right away. I go with the negative. Well,
Yeah.
we want to be the real deal if we're going to have it. So that's why I got my.
We'll see what Kim wants to do.
Well, I gotta sign it twice.
I know, I don't know what. I'll ask her.
I wondered about that.
Yeah, that's what I struggled with. My barbershop thoughts.
Yeah.
I'm throwing out crap pots, you know.
That's like me telling you how to mow lawn or you telling me how to mow carpet.
Do you really need another guy who will miss you?
Yeah.
That's me. I mean, even after these questions that I have, not against it. And I gotta believe that if there's any way we can save it. Hopefully Tony helps doing it.
Yeah.
That's the only reason.
Well, and it does, I mean, you know, Tony's vested too because he is in the city. So anytime he gets a raise, and I know it's a small portion, but he's paying for it. So he's getting a 3% raise, and it's not a true 3% raise because he's still got to pay for part of that 3%. You know, and what percentage is taxes? You know, that's all of us. So,
Well, and I even have a problem, you know, there's nothing to do about it. Half our city employees, nobody can help. And deep down, I have a problem with it. You know, it's like, oh, no, we're gonna work for the city, or live in the city, but I know we can't put that in there.
yeah, that's hard.
You know?
Yeah.
So they don't, you know, maybe raise or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I truly believe people that we got, you know, when I talk to Chris, they're looking at the state. So I truly trust them.
Yep.
And I don't believe that, you know, just because they live on town,
Yeah.
so they want to go to wider malls, just small stuff like that, will save us. And it's part-time.
Okay. They hired same two again?
Yeah, I think Ben's boy.
Yep, Jack, and I don't remember.
And we don't have the palm. We had the palm and. One person. Yeah. I think it was their idea. I know they got one person. In law, it saved us money. He was back and forth. Somebody just want to be open to some of that. Just when they get see it. Well, it's still kind of bothering me. Maybe that'll. When we're called, you know, it's always. That's a question. Are we getting called?
So basically.
You know, even look. See, on Facebook.
And so.
Facebook, you're off the sheet. The fire department, Al, and our police department was up the sheet, sure, in one morning.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey,
Well, been working with you. Again,
Yeah.
different way.
Keep up the great work and keep building bridges and see me help about.
You do the great work.
Hey,
Don't keep it up. You do it.
We're very excited. Got me for another 20 years.
Your daughter's older than the last time I saw
I
her.
know.
She was just a newborn when you did the basement for you. So,
4-year-old now. This has been her first week at Bright Beginnings because Dorothy Lodemeyer finally retired.
She did, huh?
Yeah, 47 years.
Oh, wow.
So she had a years. Yeah, we're vested in being here. I talked with Brian. We still do the ambulance, which is great. Enjoy that as well. I'm around. That's really neat is people around for those backup calls, especially. I'm very excited to be here and continue to serve.